Gamers, it's time to get glorious with the Model D minus. Good afternoon and welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, I'm Reese of the 4-piece variety, a Wookie Triple XL. And I've got a Model D wireless minus. I asked for actually the D, but marketing gave me the D minus because they like to taunt me and give me masks that are far too small for my hand. No, I'm kidding. It actually wasn't too small for my hand, which is sort of interesting. And most of the time I'll start with everything in front of me. But today, this does deserve a bit of an unboxing because the package inside is absolutely fantastic. So you open it up, you get your, obviously, mouse, your D wireless minus itself. And then underneath that, they put the connecting block in just straight underneath that with a USB, like straight in underneath that, which I really like that that's all in one sort of unit, and it's been really nicely branded. They've embossed the Glorious logo onto this one much nicer. All the mold seams and all of the stuff from Gen 1 that I really didn't like about this connecting block have been significantly improved. There's almost no mold seam between the two halves now, and then they've rubberized the base properly, so it's not going to go anywhere. I can move the whole table with just that. So imagine the rubber on the bottom of that, a-okay. But then opening up the bottom, you get the braided, molded, super flex type of cable. It is much better than their previous editions as well. Not too loose, which was a problem with the other one where cables would break and stuff. This feels just the right amount, honestly, and even having used it on the wired mode with this really nicely done Type C. It is molded Type C, but you could use any. So if it does fail, then you're not going to be stuck with just this cable. But it's nicely molded. It's got a nice orange insert in it to let you know it's the Glorious cable. Like, it's nicely finished. It's really nicely done. And I especially appreciate the little elastic band that's on it because it's not of the rubbish variety. Then something else you get is a whole nother set of skates. That's right, they give you a whole nother set of mouse feet, but these aren't to be replacing these. These are additive to give you even more glide, which I don't really see you needing, honestly. But it's such a cool thing to just include in the package that they give you that as an optional extra on it. I'm kind of glad that they haven't stuck it on the mouse because it would cover up more of the base. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section about that below. Should they have stuck it on, or is it better to leave it for us to stick it on? It is molded, so they will fit perfectly in the missing spaces, which is pretty cool. But I just thought that the fact you get additional, it's just a really nice package. And that's kind of what I'm getting at here with the Glorious thing, with why I've done the unboxing, is because then they give you a foilie as well. Like, they give you this really nice little card with quick start guide and all of the other products and stuff on it. Like, and then obviously a manual for the Model D wireless, or the D minus in this case. It's really nicely thought out, full package. There's no like corner cutting over here, which I appreciate so much. It's very nicely thought out stuff. But that is the unboxing, and now that we're done faffing with that, what about everything else? Well, so the idea here is connecting block. It is what, like I said, once again molded, so it does fit really nicely together like that. USB dongle out of there, and then obviously wireless mouse. And then when you need a charge, you just disconnect the dongle and plug it straight into the mouse, which you can do overnight. It will still draw power. Most motherboards these days as well will have like a always on sort of function for the USB, so it will still draw power from that quite readily, which is exactly how I charged it. And I'm just going to segue straight into battery life because it's actually much improved from previous generation. That being said, if you leave the LEDs on, even on 60%, even on the base setup, you're looking at about, I would say, about 25 hours maximum worth of usage. It might even be a little bit less than that because I obviously sit and work at my PC and game and everything and use it quite heavily every day. 10 to basically 12 hours of my waking time is spent at the computer. Then I use the mouse quite a lot. And what I found was within a normal day's worth of usage, I was under 50%. about 46-ish is what I think it got to when I was with the LEDs on the mouse, which is the mode I've got it in now. So if I switch it on, you'll see the LEDs then do come on. And you can set it independently for wired and wireless, which is a really, really nice touch. And honestly, I just turned them off because it's not something that I'm looking to lighting for. I don't really need lighting on this. The only light I really need is the indicator switch, which is on the bottom for the DPI. The button is at the back here, as normal with the Model D or with the Glorious setups. But that's the only one that I really would need to be able to see to make sure I'm on the 400 DPI, which is what I scale off of. Yes, I am old and I scale off 400 DPI still because I didn't see 1600 DPI mouse until I was already a man. Literally, that literally applies to me. So 400 is what I'm comfortable with, so that's what I'm looking for. And if you does it really need RGB LED? Yeah, it's cool to have it, and yeah, it might make your desktop look nice. And if you're only using the mouse for a couple hours a day, then you're going to be fine for basically an entire week, right? But if you're heavy usage like I am, where I'm using it basically constantly for work and play, then it is going to run out within the day or within 2 days. There's absolutely no doubts there. However, turning off those LEDs, it literally like made it 1% of what it was before. At the end of the day, the thing still had like 88, I think, percent was the total, but it was like double. It was more than double better. And that's obviously using it like 10 to 12 hours in the day. So the sensor and stuff doesn't actually use that much power. The LED is like obviously quite a power draw. So they've got the sensor technology and the battery around that very, very nicely set up. Bearing in mind this is a 67 gram mouse. So if we're to get that kind of battery life, basically using 1% every hour is what I would sort of average it out to. So that means 100 hours if you turn off the LEDs, and then you'll be able to use it wirelessly for an entire week, and then some more days after that. And then plugging in overnight, it's going to fully recharge. So it can still work even for heavy day usage with the LEDs on. I just don't think you really need it. They feel kind of superfluous. Thumb buttons, the other two buttons, they do still have these grooves, like Mamba-esque sort of grooves on the front over here, which is pretty good. The general shape, I mean, it's that sort of IME extended shape, you know, continuing with that. Very tall middle hump as well on it. I do like the positioning of the DPI button being a little bit further back. It's quite hard to press by accident, even if you are like, you know, in a moment and you would be there sort of with it. It's very hard to hit in the middle. Nicely pronounced as well. Thumb button position is absolutely perfect. No complaints there from me. And then, like I said, the normal clicks and then your scroll. And the scroll wheels also very good. It's one of the things that Glorious does very well are their scroll wheels. They do feel very, very nice on the feedback. Moving around the bottom, you'll see the DPI light indicator as I've indicated. Then you'll see the power on off switch and then the 4 feet. And then, as I've said, you can add in those extra skates as well. Now, performance of this mouse has been significantly improved in my eyes, not just because the BAMF sensor delay seems to be like significantly reduced or somewhat removed, which I'm hoping the case is. I don't have the technology to test for that, but just based on my feel of the product, it does seem to be a lot better. The best thing about this is if I hold it in the middle, you'll notice it doesn't lean forward anymore. The old Model D, especially the first one, the wide one, was so front heavy. Every time I would lift and sweep, it was super noticeable that the mouse is trying to tilt forward. Even if I hold it unevenly, which is where I would hold it right like that to be able to swift and leap, lift and sweep. There we go. with the mouse, then it's absolutely perfect. It doesn't lean forward or backward. The balance in the product is so much better. It's absolutely day and night. Now the thing is, though, when it comes to sensors, well, let me just cap off. The physical setup of the mouse is very good. I even think that this minus size is going to be good for most people. I have a very large palm. I have a more than 20 centimeter from tip of my middle finger to the base over here is like just over 20 centimeters. So I do have a very, very long hand. And it's because of that central hump being so pronounced like that, it doesn't feel weird. It sits really nicely in the palm. I've got to say this is very, very comfortable. It's by far, the Model D is by far my favorite shape. It was just that front leaning, like it would do that. It felt like that, like every time you lift the mouse, it's just doing it on you. So it wasn't pleasant, but that being fixed, it was so much better. But then, you know, I've just been ruined. bar sensor technology from SteelSeries, unfortunately, and just nothing compares to TrueMove. Absolutely nothing. It's nuance, it's small differences. You'll see by the clips in CSGO that I'm showing you on the screen now, it still performed exceptionally well. My ability to flick onto targets and stuff was absolutely fantastic. In a high-paced FPS environment, the sensor is not going to let you down. And if you get used to this sensor, it's going to feel really good for you. And I think if you're even a lower top sort of tier competitive person, you could look at this as a real proper competitive product. For me, it still just doesn't compare to TrueMove. TrueMove for me is like the ultimate sensor, and so it's very difficult to replace it. And even when I do, my boy Kaz says I'm betraying the clan because I introduced him to it as well, and ever since he's so converted as well. It's just super good. Like, it's inexplicably good. It does the same thing every single time, 100% of the time. No 0.4% or 0.3% of loss of tracking. It's always the same, always, like to a point of it's almost ludicrous in how accurate it is. And the BAMF sensor is good, and it doesn't skip out, and it's got a very good high DPI handling. So if you are looking at it for a 4K screen or something like that, there's almost no jitter up until the max setting. I couldn't detect any jitter or anything like that. Software is also really nicely set up. It's much more user friendly, straightforward to use. Everything functions nicely. Everything that you would want to be there for a premium mouse is there. And I really do like Glorious products. I think they are fulfilling a need and a niche that we have needed in the gaming world, you know, that sort of budget premium scale. At the money, this is extremely hard to beat. But if money is no object and you want the best, unfortunately, this isn't it. It just isn't. Like, it is good. I really do like the product. I'm just jaded, you know. The sensor really has sort of been ruined for me. Anything that, if I could put that sensor in here, I would use it over the Sensei 10 in a heartbeat. The size, weight, everything is so much more comfortable. It just doesn't have a true move. So yeah, I still think 9 out of 10, definitely a good product from Glorious, definitely worth your consideration at the money. And if you are looking for anything Glorious, well, Evetech's got absolutely everything listed. There's grips that you can put on the mouse, extra skates and feet you can buy, extra cables or replacement parts. Same thing for the keyboards as well. It is all there on Evetech. Anyway, that is all I have for you on the Model D Minus. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit us up with a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side.